Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 6v6 custom match on the map Town of Turmoil. It is a 10 by 10, so let's go ahead and introduce our players here really quickly so we don't miss any of the action. Starting with Team 1 down here in the south and ending with Team 2 down here, up here in the east. Starting off in the rear with FAFing off. He's going first air as a UEF in Batman Gray. To his northeast in Chevy Crimson, we have Bowser in Ator going first land as a Seraphim. To the west in Amethyst Purple, we have another air factory being the first factory built, and the player being Bolito, and he is going Cybrin. In Pac-Man Yellow, we have Bullock going first air as a Cybrin as well. In Tropical Blue, still not completely decided on Tropical Blue, still trying to feel it out. I've had Aqua Blue is another suggestion I've heard, so kind of debating about the colors. But again, we're going to have first land of Mutant Gene Pool, and he's going UEF. And last but not least, for Team 1 down here in the southwest portion of the map, we have B Esquire going first land in Royal Purple as a Seraphim. Let's go ahead and introduce Team 2, starting with the Ruby Red player of B Lover 3000. He is going first land as an Aeon. To his northwest as orange, the color orange, we have Grumpy going first land as a Cybrin. In Royal Blue, we have Cascade. He's going first land as a UEF, and that is first land, second air. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, most likely land. Keep saying air for some reason. In light red pink, we have the player of One Big Andy. He's going first air as a UEF. A Seraphim here in the middle. We have Sun Lifa going first and land in Stitch Blue. And last but not least, in Barbie Pink, we have the comrade on the move of Naturally Asprid. I think that's how you say that name. Going first air, second land as an Aeon. Racial disparities here for both of our teams. Starting with Team 1 down here in the south, we have 2 Cybrin, 2 UEF, and 2 Seraphim. No Aeon Tech on this side of the field for Team 1. And for Team 2 side of things in the northeast corner, we have 2 Aeon, 1 Cybrin, 2 UEF, and 1 Seraphim. So all of the races represented here on Team 2 side of things. We have the comm of Cascade moving forward to the west, trying to establish a nice little foothold on this upper plateau section overlooking the main base of Best Squire. I'm assuming it's B Esquire because it's like the B is separated by a underscore. So we will see about that. And again, let me know down in the comments if I'm saying his name or any of the names correct or not. On this map, we have 82,000 reclaim. That's, I think, the most reclaim I've ever seen on a map just starting off. It is so much reclaim, and it doesn't really matter where it is because it is everywhere. So lots of maps for everyone to scoop up. There aren't actually a whole lot of mexes. We have a group of 4 in the northwest. Actually, in all 4 corners, we have a group of 4 and an additional one. But again, we have a line of 4 in the middle. And this, water's pretty, segmented off. It's not really it really isn't useful. You could probably build a couple Corsairs. You could probably build some cruisers over here and just kind of hold off the middle with some anti-air. But it's really not really useful. So it's... It'll be a place to get some reclaim, but that's probably about it. Combat going down here in the northwest here between these tanks here for Team 1 and Team 2. Looks like we have a couple of Mantis and a couple of Strikers going at it. We also have this little mountainside trek that these Thams can do. You can kind of see it looks deceiving from a wider shot, but when you zoom in, it does offer a nice little slope for units to, I was going to say run up, but they don't run, so hover up or drive up to be able to defend that northern ridge. Definitely going to be a spot of contention here, especially because this is a nice place to build some T2RD or missiles and just bombard the opponents down below. So good place to have a tussle over here. We had a unit up here for Cascade that just got annihilated on that little Oh, cliffside, plateau side. I don't even know. I mean, you probably got up over this way, but a lot of little like nooks and crannies for our players to kind of exploit in this game. Naturally, Esperid is moving forward, dealing with these early Thams and Zooey out here from B Esquire. Over here to the east, we have upgrades going down for multiple comms. We have a gun speed going on the way for B Lover. All the way down south in this southeastern corner. So Team 2 has taken the northwest and southeast corners. Not really a lot of contention on either side of those, which is kind of weird. We have T2 going on the way for Grumpy and and another T2 upgrade going down for Bowser and Nator. So going to be a lot of turtling up, a lot of PD and the whatnot, but Cyberens aren't really known for their turtling. Seraphims, their shields specifically, yes, but I do like their Utashalas, their T2 point defense, very effective at taking out T1 units early on. Mutant Jinpo going for a gun and range upgrade. And of course, we have units and comms building up here on this approach here to the northwest, ensuring that they have some sort of protection. They would probably like to build right over here next to this mix, but there's just a decent amount of units, and it probably will be that way for a while for B Esquire. He's even probably going to move his comm up. Where is he going? He's going to move right there for now, but I wouldn't be surprised if he goes up there and tries to take that section of the map. Team 2 has built 3 of the 4 mexes in the pond. It does look like we have some NGs out here from Sanlifa. I guess they were on some building orders. Well, reclaim or patrol orders, so not going to matter a whole lot. But I love this play. Again, mentioned it earlier with cruisers from the UEF. You'll get the missiles and you'll get the AA, so it's a best of both worlds there. But definitely a good play there. Wouldn't be surprised if that gets taken out early on as well. Still combat down here in the northwest, but unfortunately for B Esquire, Team 2's forces with the 2 comms are just too much for these forces from Team 1 to bear, and they will be pushed back. There's not really a lot of reinforcing units as well, and so as time goes on, Team 2 will push that their forward line further and further. We have a small group of units over here in the middle as well. Looks like they're coming to assist the comm of Grumpy. We have a new Tashala that's been built, and he's going to start using that to start pushing that comm back. Units from Bowser and Nator are pushing him back as well, so he's going to stop producing those PD, and these 2 factories will fall to a lot of incoming Zooey fire. Just look at the damage that they wrecked. Just annihilated those factories. Here we got T2 land going T3. So 7. Wow, that's really early going for T3. Shoot. 7, almost 8 minutes, and the upgrade has started. That's really quick. T2 on the constructed for Bullock, and T2 for Bolido. Let's see, 2-2 on constructed for Grumpy. So pretty much everyone has gone T2 at some point, except for B Lover, who is still on T1. Wouldn't be surprised to see. Yep, he is on an upgrade for T2. But we have a small group of forces out here for B Lover and a larger force out here for faffing off. Faffing off, trying to knock out B Lover from the southeast corner. But we have some forces out here from Bowser Nator as well, trying to get into the main base of B Lover. But unfortunately, I don't think it'll be enough. We see a decent section of PD here. A shield being built to protect them. And then an artillery installation going to be spammed up as well. Building some frigates here in the middle. Not really going to be that useful. You'll take out some NGs, but that's really about it. I would probably save it and just spam up T2 cruisers. That's really the only work you're going to get done. And even if you were a Cybran, it's going to be really hard to get out of this little valley, because you got to just walk all the way around. It's not really conducive for that kind of combat, especially with the legs on those Salem's. Very slow moving, but a decent forward operating base here for Team 1. And we have some PD. I would like to see some Team D mixed in here. T2 is almost done for Mutual Gene Pool. He's going to build a PD immediately, even though his partner here already has that. So, I mean, the Triads are, of course, the better PD versus the Cerberus, but you already have PD, so it's not a big issue. But we have a couple of units out here from faffing off. They've taken out a couple of mexes against B-Lover, and it just, there's not really a whole lot going on in this main base. There's a couple of PD, so wouldn't be surprised to see some artillery. Yep, and we mentioned earlier that one does finish. It's going to use the adjacency bonus to help assist in the recharging of those rounds and reduce the cost of building up another one. It's interesting because structures cost like energy or mass or whatever to build, but units can just spam them out all day, every day. So it's just kind of they also deal less damage, of course, but it's just kind of interesting. You have like 30 mobile missile launchers just launching missiles constantly, but you can have one missile or a couple missile launchers that just take an infinite amount of time to load because there's a lot of mass that needs to go into those. TMD has been built for Mutant Gene Pill. He's going for another artillery installation, similar to his compatriot here in the east. It looks like Team 1 is concerned more with taking the middle sections, and Team 2 is more focused on taking the corner sections. So we'll see which play works out for them the most. Bullock has retreated, going to his main base. Doesn't be sniped out early on. That T3 factory does complete for faffing off, and I didn't even introduce our highest and lowest rated players. So on Team 2, on the northeastern team, we have the highest and the lowest on that team. The highest being Cascade and the lowest being Grumpy. We have 2 1800s on Team 1 and 2 900s on Team 1 as well. So again, it's a good balancing. It is a 92%. So considering the range of players in the match, I'd say it's 92 is really good, with the average being 1283 for Team 2 and 1267 for Team 1. Gun speed and range going down for the comm of... Oh yeah, for San Leaf. For some reason, I was looking at Team 1's names and there's no blue on that team. So, that was... for some reason, I got confused there. Anyway, we have a band of units over here to the east for faffing off. They are being intercepted by some bombers and other units from B-Lover. He must have heard me saying you're not doing more in your base, and is starting to spam up a shield and some TMD. I don't know. Looks like the artillery is going after the mechs first. He does have a missile launcher here. TMD has been spanned up. We have a gunship. Volthu going to deal with the rest of these units out here from faffing off. And it just looks like, this is a perfect opportunity for faffing off to take this corner of the map. There's hardly anything in defense. There's a couple of intel installations, but it's not enough. They'll know Team 2 will know, especially B-Lover will know the incoming threat, but it just isn't going to be enough to defend against it. There's a lot more infrastructure on the northwestern corner for Team 2 versus the southeastern corner of Team 2. T3 has been achieved in the air at sub 13 minutes as well for both teams. Would be surprised to see. Yep, we have Bullock is going T3 as we speak. But we have 2 T3 factories have been completed for Team 2, and it looks like this one has three. There's 3 T3 players. 3 players have achieved T3 air. There we go. Lots of 3s and T's in there. So that is definitely going to give them a huge advantage in the air game, especially, this early at 13 minutes. They can spam up a lot of ASF, or one can go gunships, or one can go strap bombers, and one can go ASF. So it'll give them a lot of utility and range of strategies. But still surprised to not see any T2 factories. It is getting online here pretty soon. And then, of course, a engineer and then bulwark shield. I'd say that's a good unit to build, help protect the cruisers a little more. And then it's cruisers all day, every day. Probably would have started off with a couple cruisers and then a shield and then more cruisers, but that would have been my build order. But again, I am not as high ranked as a 1200, so probably should I can learn a thing or two from him as well. We have the first strap bomber of the game coming out from the Barbie Pink player of Naturally Esprid. He's going after a PD that was up here on the ridge. I wouldn't say the best use of that early on. Team 1 will now know of the existence, but took out a PD that was annoying, so got something out of it. Mobile missile launchers doing their stuff against these emplacements here for Team 2. And we have a lot of Aurora here And that's it. Just a war. I don't see any T2 units that should have appeared at some point, especially if we're going to be in the land game. Ilshis, I mean, yeah, they can do a lot of damage, but against all out of war, it might not make a whole lot of difference. But you can see as these other reinforcing Ilshis come in, just evaporating the hit points on those of war. And this position will be lost. And 2 players, it looks like they DC'd. Let's pause for a second to see what was going on in chat. It says 1 DC on each side. UDC, what beginning are you here? Genny, please leave. So connection issues were happening, or game won't continue. 1 DC on each side. It's fair. Yeah, it's fair. 1 player each DCs. Okay, player, goodbye. It just took too long to eject. You didn't boot him. Candy, please leave. Great job, Esquire, by the way. Oh, thanks. Trying not to die here this time. Looks like I think this is another match he played on this game. But yeah, we lost the players of 2 air players actually. On in this game, we lost the one big Andy for Team 2 and Bolito for Team 1. This drops this game to a 5v5, and obviously you can see it is a no-share game. It might even be like a share until death, most likely. But that is gonna hurt, especially this early on. But it does look like, you know, we have another air player for Team 1, so they're completely not out of air just as yet. But Team 2 still has the advantage at a 2-1 versus it was a 3-2 earlier in terms of the airplay. But we have Ravagers here for Bowserinator. It looks like he was gifted some UEF tech. And he's going to use his far superior shields from the Seraphim combined with the far superior PD of the UEF and just PD creep against his opponent. Good. I love that play. I love combining technologies from different factions and then utilizing them to the most effectiveness. So again, the PD for UEF and the shields for Seraphim. Very good. Very good. Props to Bowserinator. Deserves a golf clap there. But I won't clap because I don't want the mic to pick it up. But we have some Ilshis up here to the west, and they're going to take out a Pigeon and a shield, but there are some Perseus that have been built and that will defend this position for Cascade. Cascade is going to hold this position with his life. His main base is secured with a bunch of shields and counter artillery out here from these demolishers, and this will force back the front line of Bollock and Team 1 in general. The Ilshis from Bowserinator have now come to wreak some havoc on B Lover's main base. We also, of course, have the Ravager now on the hill. It has a nice range and nice field of view there. You will pinpoint, see Bowserinator. You can see the range. It can deal with a decent amount. Looks like Bowserinator wishes it was a little bit closer. The shield for Bean Lover is still online, so he's not falling out. The Ilshis do target the shield, take it out. That will force Bean Lover to rebuild it. And the artillery will be able to come in and deal with more of that. We have Clink Hammers. I don't know if the arty for Seraphim are better than the UEF, but NGs are building the UEF version, so we'll see which one is better. I don't know if which one is better, though. But artillery lands, takes out a Pigeon straight up. Definitely going to drop the eco here for B-Lover. What's his power looking like? Well, still has some power, but he must be living off of overflow from his teammates here. I'm moving house, says B-Lover. He's like, forget this, I'm leaving. Takes a couple NGs and just goes, I'm out. See ya, bye. Yeah, it's not really the best position because you're just disadvantaged by the terrain. You know, you're kind of surrounded almost by 2 players, especially if this player over here, faffing off, for example, pushes in. You're pretty much surrounded at this point. Team 2 have lost the southeast corner, and now it's looking about 50%, maybe 55 favoring Team 1. Let's look at ecos here while we watch a gunship take out a demolisher. There's the button. We have Team 1, so the southwestern team at 800 and something, so we'll call it 810, versus Team 2 at 670, so 140 mass or so in Team 1's favor per second. We have an experimental. It is a chicken, and all of these Zooey are going to be killed off. The departure of B-Lover has left a vacuum here that Team 1, specifically Bowserinator, is going to exploit. The chicken will deal with this forward operating base for the most part. The Ravagers opening up will definitely be something for that Chicken 2 fear. But you just got to spam in there. But anyway, total mass accrued for both teams. Team 1 in the lead by about 20,000 masses. 20,000 masses total. They're going up pretty much at the same rate. So average, the Chicken is en route here. The Ravagers not targeting the Chicken. Definitely a mistake here. They now open up. And the Uthashalas are in range as well. The artillery was the first target. Leaving the Ravagers is probably not the best idea here. I don't think there's enough forces and defenses to deal with this Chicken. More Uthashalas open up. They're targeting the NGs. Or sorry, they're targeting the Zui, excuse me. Not targeting the defenses. Definitely a mistake here. Now they're targeting the Ravagers. A lot of damage could have been mitigated by just taking out the Ravager first and then the Uthashalas next. There are, of course, reinforcing units from 2 players now here, obviously from Faffing Off and Bowserinator, so they'll be able to help reinforce this position. The Chicken did deal with this fire base. There are inbound whalers on approach here to deal with this Chicken as well. They have there is flak on this Chicken. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it, over time it can kill a whaler. Whalers are at, 6,000 hit points almost, so into ASF coming in over the top to help support that Chicken. They'll deal with the whalers, but the Chicken has fallen sub 10,000, sub 8,000, 7,000, and I probably don't think it's going to last very long. There's still an Uthashala still online, and the whaler is still online as well. Ooh, that's not going to feel good. Sub 3,000. The Chicken did get a Rankin vet, so it'll help protect it just a little bit. We have a couple bombers over the top, and that Chicken is still alive. Oh, and there it goes. Almost got out of there unscathed, but there are more bombers incoming, and this will, pretty much be scooped up by Team 1 unless Team 2 gets in and secures it first. It does favor Team 1's side of the map, but we have Percy's on approach on this northern wall here for Team 2. Team 1 has built a decent amount of defenses. I wish there was more Ravagers here. There are shields, Mutant Gene Bull getting a T3, P-Gen fairly far forward. These artillery are focusing on the main base of Cascade, with Cascade coming in with his Uthashalas. With his Percy's, and Gene Pool is going to eat a lot of incoming fire. He has the T3 engineering suite, has a lot of hit points on that comm, 15,000, but he won't, a couple more shots, probably one more will do it. Hides behind some shield emplacements, and one more does do it, and that is the first official kill of the game. Cascade gets it on Mutant Gene Pool. It's now a 5v4 in favor of Team 2 at 21 minutes and 40 seconds. Yep, saw that trap too late. Yep, he just didn't see the Percy's fast enough. And, of course, it is a share until death. And all of these structures go down. Lots of reclaim, but, when you start off at 80, like 2,000 reclaim, this amount of reclaim, which by the way, what is that? It's at 119,000 now. So a lot more reclaim. You can see all that reclaim in the main base. So the numbers for Team 1 will be a little inflated due to that, but mass is mass, and you'll get the mass points as well. So can't really argue with that. Whalers uncontested here on this northwestern side, dealing with these Percy's. There are some ASF here from the pink player of Naturally a Sprid. I can say pink now because there were two of them. Now there's only one, so nice to be able to not have to say Barbie pink or lightish red pink to differentiate between the two. But we still have, again, blue is on Team 2, and there is some red on Team 2 as well, so I can't just say red team and blue team because it doesn't work. But now we still have the main base here for B. Esquire, still holding strong, but he is starting to be surrounded on that hill, though. We have some SAM sites. Of course, Percy's are walking on that northern ridge. It's not really looking good for B. Esquire. There's also artillery been built here, starting to bombard the shields for him as well. And he's spamming up a Chicken as we speak. Anti-air Cougars are on their way to the middle. I don't... they're not escorted. That's my problem with them. There's no issue like having a group of Cougars. Like, go for it. Get all the Cougars you want. You need the anti-air. But if they're not escorted, it's not really going to mean a whole lot. We have Loyalists kind of gearing up to fight some Percy's. The Percy's will win that fight every day. Yeah, the Loyalists can get in and like disable the Percies for a little bit, but the alpha damage from the Percies is just too strong for those Loyalists. And then speaking of Percies, the column of Percies is continuing to get bigger and bigger. They're going to go after the reclaiming efforts here for Bowser and Aether. Just prevent the buildup of those. But there are even more Whalers on approach. And this will probably turn off these Percies. Don't want to drop all of the mass here for Team 1 to scoop up. Oh, even more mass, I should say. Because each one is worth 800 mass. So, I mean, that's a decent amount of mass per Percy. So gotta not mass dump on your opponent. Definitely not a good idea, especially in a no-share game where that mass could mean the difference between win and defeat. In full share games, it does matter to a degree how much you mass dump, but not really, because it's in front of your base and you're still generating mass. Because it's a no-share game, you have to go out and rebuild all those mexes, and that takes time. We have a nuke at 24 minutes here for Team 1 out here from the player of faffing off. I haven't even seen some SMD here as of yet, so this is going to be there's one. And it was most likely just built by Naturally Spirit, and it's going not for him, it's going for Cascade. Cascade is not here, so this is where assassinations are a big play. You kill the comm, you kill everything. And this nuke will land, kaboom. Takes out the production yards and facilities here for Cascade. He does have a couple of T2 headquarters. They are upgrading to T3, it looks like, so he'll be able to recoup his losses there. But there's a nuke here in the northwest corner. Oh, Team 2. Oh, does Team 1 know? No, they see a structure. They don't see what it is, though. Ooh. That would be just the icing on the cake if Cascade could get that off and kill off, faffing off some revenge play. Definitely love to see that. Bowser Nature has finished an experimental. It is a chicken? Yep, it is a chicken. Building another one as we speak, because why not? Because chickens are, pretty good. I'd say they're not the best T for like assault bot. I don't know. I feel like, the monkey is so cheap. It's just hard because you have the monkey, you have the chicken, and you have the Colossus. Because the Fat Boy doesn't count. Because it's not like a bot. It's more of just mobile artillery, so it's a little different mechanics. So, Colossus the best in terms of HP damage and all of that, but the monkey is cheaper. But Bullock has been killed off by the Calm of Cascade. All of those Percies walked in. Apologies for missing it. Strat Bombers coming over the top, taking out P-Gens, helping to reduce. Actually, they have some friendly fire, taking out a couple of their own Percies. But dang, this is a lot. We had a drop out here from San Lifa. That is a ballsy play going after the reclaim. It's a good attempt. Hardly got any of it, but again, that's something. They got a mean right hook, says Gene Pool. Yeah, they do. And those Percies haven't been stopped. The ASF have been supporting them as they have been demolishing Team 1's eco. And look at Team 1 eco now. It is fallen a significant amount. They were at 800 something a couple minutes ago when I pointed it out, but now Team 2 has jumped almost, I'd say, 150 mass, if not more at this point. A huge amount of mass in Team 2's favor per second, but these Percies are starting to fall. There are more being built here for Team 1 in defense. We also have some ASF being used to, try to fend off, SAMs being used to fend off the ASF. Bowser Nader builds another experimental. It's another chicken, of course. There's not a lot of PD here, and takes out a huge section of those kennels. A lot of those, those little drones will be reduced. They've almost built a second nuke. The SMD isn't loaded. What is Cascade's nuke looking like? Well, he's still got a little bit of time. He is trying to prioritize it as fast as he can, though. But they've also built a forward SMD. That one will fall. But again, this is the one that's the major concern. If he can finish this off, he might have a chance to survive. We are at 28 minutes here. So, definitely on Team 1 and Team 2's mind now, especially with the first nuke being launched. The SMD is a major priority. We have a bunch of these demolishes being taken out by the monkey. They took a decent amount of that base here for the orange player of Grumpy. But now we have a counter push of some Percies here trying to follow what Cascade did. The nuke does launch. here for Team 1 out here from faffing off as well. And it is going after the nuke launcher here in the northwest corner. Will the nuke launch? It's it's almost finished. Will the nuke launch? It had just immediately. Yep, immediately launch it. Just don't even hesitate. The nuke gets launched, so not going to waste a nuke in the clip. That would suck. This nuke, however, will land. There is no SMD. It was not as fast as his opponent, and that will land. Kaboom! Takes out everything except for these factories. So once they finish upgrading, they can rebuild what was once there. For the nuke, it is going for the main base of Bowserinator, and it will land. There is no SMD. Definitely an oversight there. And kaboom! Takes out a large section. There's one PGen still alive, some NGs, and a SAM-site, and a mech. So, not a total loss, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mechs go down. 7 mechs go down. Bowserinator is perfectly fine still. But look at the damage that has been wrought on this northern side. These Perseus have dealt a decent blow to the air grid here for Sanlifa. Sanlifa actually on the front lines, taking out the last of the Perseus and then taking out the Cougars next. Team 2 has now been painted back in their corner. There's not really a whole lot, but Team 1, I mean, you can just see the devastation here on the southern side. 3 bases worth of mexes are just gone, just absolutely annihilated. It's a 5v3 in favor of Team 2, and Team 2 has to keep the forward momentum going. If Team 1 gets some momentum, it might, it might not feel good here pretty soon, and that chicken is not going to feel good. Sanlifa has got to get out of there. The pings go down. They obviously see it. They see it incoming. Sanlifa going to retreat. PD has been spammed up here. Oblivion's not a whole lot of damage on them versus, Ravagers, but it is something. It's better than nothing. We have a Colossus here for naturally a Spirid. So it will intercept this chicken, but not after Sanlifa gets hit by a bunch of incoming fire. Just keep moving the chicken, Bowserinator. Don't stop moving. You have to go after the comm. Just keep putting the movement, keep pinging it behind the comm. Sanlifa trying to push forward, take out the comm. That is a decent decent HP comm. It's at 50,000. The slower firing round misses. Will that make a difference? And Grumpy Control K's decides he is done with this game, being bombarded entirely. Oh, and it got behind the chicken. The chicken gets a rank and vet, though. Gets some hit points back. Of course, the explosion going off in the corner in the space. Just annihilating itself. Oh, turn around. Trying to take out... You got to take Sanlifa. Cascade Control Ks. We didn't see any disconnect. I don't know what that's about. Maybe just due to the fact that maybe some players, lost connection. Kind of a little touchy-feely. But we didn't see any windows indicating that... there was any issue, but Sanlifa does get out of there. Very ballsy play. Could have died there. Could have lost his entire base, but does survive. Cascade left, and which is very unlike him. So it must have been a connection issue. But Grumpy could have left just because his main base was pretty much just gone. But see, that Control K makes sense, but not really the other one. And now it goes from a 5v3 to a 3v3 in about a minute or so. And in terms of eco now... Team 1 and Team 2 are relatively tied. Total Mass Accrued also relatively tied, but the nuke is going to be something that Team 1 will have for a little bit. There is an SMD, and it is loaded, but it is going after the main base of Sanlifa. Sanlifa will get on a transport and make it out as fast as he can. You got to move it now. There you go. Get it out of range where you don't go forward to the enemy base. Probably not a good idea. Or the enemy front line. This one will fall. They were trying to snipe the comm and edge out that SMD. And this nuke will land. Kaboom. Takes out the T3 headquarters for the air. They still have the... Actually, it's the land factory, not the air. The air factory goes down. The land one does not. So Team 2's player, Sanlifa, will still have access to T3 Seraphim, land tech, and engineers. The comm of B. Esquire has actually fallen back and will use this as his main base now, because that position isn't really great, and the Colossus is tearing a new one, so definitely something he needs to, he's like, oh, I'm going to get out of here, and then does, so definitely could move on that front. The ASF, I guess, were distracted, or Team 2 didn't notice, so The comm of B Esquire gets out of there unscathed without, really any issue. Demolishers are launching incoming rounds onto the, I guess, engineers here, but they can't be targeted because, at least from this angle, because of this cliff and the way the shell arcs. It would have hit the engineers had this little cliff side. They're not here. And with that other one. But I hear chicken fire once again for Bowserinator. He just needs to keep moving it forward. B-Lover is running. The counter chicken built here for Team 2 finishes off. The T3 Land Factory doesn't get hit, but Diggs takes out some mass. That's not really going to mean a whole lot. But the Calm of Sanlifa is under fire once again. Looks like the chicken is trying to do their best to dissuade it and get in front of it to make sure that the shots impact the chassis of the chicken and not the Calm. But it doesn't matter. The Calm of Sanlifa goes down. The chicken goes down. And now it goes from a 3v3 to a 3v2. Oh, there's some. This has been a very interesting game. We've had some disconnects. That still no disconnect. Window has popped up, which is very weird. We've had comms almost dying. Comms did die, and all of that. So definitely a fun game here. And the main base of Team 2 is now starting to be picked apart piece by piece. Very similar to what happened for Team 1 very early on. That Colossus is making its way to the main bases, or at least the, I guess now forward operating bases in this case. The comm of B Esquire has retreated all the way back, trying to get on a transport would be my guess, and get up here. Gets on that transport and books it out of there. Maybe not a huge worry because this Colossus will probably go down, but the Colossus is prioritizing the Mechs. Going to reduce the eco for Team 1. Definitely a good move there. B-Lover has 1 mass per second, probably reclaiming right now. But yeah, Team 1 severely leading the mass game here at 1.1k versus 230 for Team 2. The 2 highest rated players on Team 1 are still alive, and the highest rated player on Team 2 and the lowest rated player on Team 2 have fallen. So the rating average has gone, but the comm of falling off Control K's, he must have. What is going on with this game? There's no. Yeah, that was the last mission. All of this goes down, all of it. So just that mass total advantage just doesn't even matter anymore. Being up 150,000 mass and 1.k mass a second doesn't even matter anymore because the comm of faffing off Control K's or something, because we've definitely seen correct notifications when a player gets killed. So it must have just been that initial DC. So I do apologize for that. When I was reviewing making sure the game didn't have any DCs, and I don't watch it to know what happens. I kind of want to commentate as kind of like a on the fly kind of thing. Like the window definitely should pop up for this game, and I don't know why it hasn't. So apologies for that. Because I think that was definitely either some issue or something, because he was perfectly fine. That GC was going to fall. No idea. So now it's pretty much they naturally spread with assistance from B-Lover versus Bowserinator and B Esquire. And just look at how much is not built now. Just we have 36 minutes in and everything is gone. The mass production of NGs is underway. They're like ants, just in a line, following one another, going after some food left out on a picnic table. T3 air is the priority here for Bowserinator. Definitely a good move there. Teleporter on the way. Very interesting play. Wants to be able to travel around the map. He does have an SMD, and it is loaded. So if Team 2 was building a nuke, which I wouldn't be at this point. Mass is the most important thing for B-Lover right now, and he has a ton of it. How much reclaim on the map so far? 551,000. Over 500,000 mass. And honestly, it's almost split down the middle at this point. It's hard to tell who has the lion's share of it. I want to say Team 1, but I could be wrong with all these other numbers here. So it's just, I'd say, call it half and half. We have one solitary Colossus just hanging out here. I'll move that back. Chicken being built here for B Esquire. This could easily be sent and taken out this base. I just don't know why it hasn't been. We have the comm of B Esquire in the back line here, southwest corner of the map. Another chicken, and it's going to go after B Lover, and B Lover's got to get out of there. Does the Bowsernator notice? I don't think he notices. He just isn't going after it. I mean, he's not B Lover. It could be an issue, but he is going after the last major threat on Team 2 side of things. Naturally, Esprit, and taking out some P-gens takes that line of 4 out fairly quickly. The Colossus opens up its face laser, and it's going after the main production facilities here for Team 2, at least the air grid. And it's going to go after these PD. Definitely not the best placement. A lot of drop bombers over the top. They take out the chicken. Let's see, will they get the reclaim order off? No, they don't. And so all of these engineers will go down. They take out that. Awesome. That was overkill. Just all those going after one. Will it take out the SMD is the question. Will it? Oh! It takes out. Oh no! Takes out that pigeon and kills everything else off, and even takes out the SMD. So pretty much the chicken did its job, and now the mass totals are now still in Team 1's favor. Not still, they have now shifted to Team 1 heavily. The Colossus now attacking, like I mentioned, what it should do earlier. It still has a lot of hit points. This base will be totally eradicated here. But man, this game, just once Team 1 has an advantage, then Team 2 has the advantage, and Team 1 has the advantage. Just keep flip-flopping back and forth. And it's just bare bones at this point. You know, you have a wing. Actually, that's probably a squadron almost. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's almost a squadron's full of strat bombers. And they could go after the comms for Team 1 and just kill them off outright. There are some flak built up here. Esquire building some mexes, and of course a Bowsernator falls to naturally Esprit, though. Bowsernator going after the comm, but it looks like as well Esprit gets killed off as well. What is happening? What is this game? So now the highest rated player, at least on Team 1, has fallen, and it's now a 1v1. 40 minutes. There's nothing on the map. We're talking about 72 mass a second versus 25 mass a second. This is insane. Just the devastation. This is just, utterly ridiculous. Look, oh, wrong button. This is, and the comm of B Esquire goes back to his main base. Obviously, the Colossus was built by naturally Esprit, so that one, that one falls as well. But look at this. It's literally a 1v1 now, and we're at 41 minutes. And it's like the game restarted, but with one player each on each team. This is crazy. I don't know what Bowsernator was thinking going after the main comm like that. Probably didn't expect the strat bombers, maybe. Probably that was the thing. But look at the mass. Just I want to see the mass again. Look at the mass. 704,000 mass. Just why so much? And honestly, at this point, I feel like B Lover has it for right now. He has more of a. Oh, I don't know. It's in terms of mass totals, we have B Esquire is leading, but this is so weird. I'm gonna speed it up just a little bit, probably about 3 or so, because it's gonna be a little slow just due to the fact that it's pretty much restarting the game again with only one player. So not a whole lot of action is gonna happen. B Esquire getting another T3, actually T2 headquarters. Going for Volthu gunships, it looks like. And it's just going to try to kill the comm of B Lover off with those. Honestly, that's a good move. Because he has the mass for it. Check. Yeah, well, he has a full mass bar. So, yeah, he has the mass for it. So he's going to spam those up. He's going for T3 land as well. Going to spam up some NGs after that. He has all the he doesn't even need to build mass extractors. Just build a bunch of NGs and just soak up all the mass at this point. That is probably what B Lover is doing. He's building up his generated eco, though. Instead of going after literally all of the eco. He has a couple engineers, but all of the eco. 1, 2, 3 chickens here. The 4th chicken there. A bunch of Percys and, P-gens. There's a Colossus down here. Just the devastation. Wow, it's crazy. Let's see, what's a good shot of like all of the mass? Let's see, how much mass is just right here? 200. Okay, where's a bigger portion of the mass? Let's see. Well, there's some down here, but it's not really like one group of it. It's kind of well spread out. But the Voltu gunships have appeared. They're taking out the P-gens. Of course, the Voltus are fairly weak. They don't last very long. They will take out a P-gen, trying to hold the production of more and more power. B-Lover is still... Actually, he's losing power now because he's trying to build a T3 one. But that will be fixed here pretty quickly. Does power stall for a little bit, but we'll fix that here. You're going to probably spam up some more T2 and T3 air. Probably should have waited for a couple more gunships, but wanted to try to do as much damage as he can before mass production occurs, though. Just the dead bodies just everywhere. There you go. There's a good scene. Just the devastation. Just the devastation. Look at all of it. It's just crazy. Wow, we're at 46 minutes now. So, starting to, rebuild a little bit here on this eastern side. The western side here, we have T3 and land and air. It looks like he's spamming up some strat bombers. Wait, those are strat bombers. So, going to send out his gunships once again with a strat bomber in tow. And maybe I'll start slowing it down just a little bit, but it looks like B-Lover spamming up some T1 tanks again. Tried to go after the comm. Really, that didn't... Nothing, unfortunately. Just the flak was too strong. Not enough. Yeah, the Shinthas, I think is how you pronounce that. But yeah, 48 minutes in now. That's just crazy. Like, still, like, you can see the devastation. And on a map 10 by 10 with 1v1, that's a lot of map coverage to cover. It's a lot to think about. You already have Subcom Bram at this point. You've been dealing with a whole bunch of combat. Everyone else is gone on your team. You're all by yourself now. No one's in chat, which is interesting, but that must have been dealt with the DCs and all of that. So just crazy. It's a crazy match. I'm just going to say that outright. And I haven't dropped it down just a little bit yet because really nothing else is happening. You have ASF going to take out some air scouts, but that's really about it. We have counter ASF here for B-Lover. So now it's just, I guess, a race to just who can kill the other person faster. And it went from a 6v6 game to a 1v1. And I'm just going to say it's a crazy match. But now we can see some, build orders and stuff like that going on between our players. B-Lover focusing on producing more, of course, mass, because you got to do that all the time. And Galactic Colossus, probably that's going to be his trump card, is just using that. And, of course, the trump card for B Esquire is going to be the bombers. I just think B-Lover has enough in tow. He does have a Omni, which is good, because you need that at this stage. And B Esquire does not. He doesn't have that. Using his ASF as scouts, not really the best idea, but again, like I said, not the best idea. Should be using actual spy planes, but it's better than nothing at this stage. But it does look like B Esquire is focusing on expanding a little more, ensuring that he kind of diversifies and decentralizes. But the issue with that is it takes a lot of the APM out, especially this late. B-Lover is just like, I like this corner. I'm going to sit in this corner, and I'm going to soak up all the mass in this corner. And you can see one of the chickens has already gone. A couple of the chickens have already disappeared. Now going off to the Colossus Rex. But the Redeemers are just taking out anything and everything in their path. You can see the patrol. They figured out the patrol route and parked a couple of Redeemers on the edge. Then we have 5 strat bombers right here. Another one is 6 in tow. There is a shield on that comm. It's a 4-starter comm. It has the regular shield, not the heavy shield. So, talking about 23,000 hit points. I don't think that's enough to kill in one pass, especially with the other additional shields over top. And he's actually sitting, you notice, he's actually sitting on the convergence of both of those shields. So it's going to take even, you know, that's another 18,000 hit points and 11,000 hit points. So that's a lot of hit points to chew through. The bombers are going to go in. We'll slow it down just a little bit so we can watch the bombers come in. They're going to come in from the south. ASF have spotted them. And I think, oh, it was too late. Nope, they didn't get, you should have given the order. Give the order. Give the order. It's too late now. Yep. So the ASF starting to be taken out. Strat bomber starting to be taken out. I don't think a lot of them will get a second bomb drop, unfortunately. This one gets its bomb dropped. B-Lover moves in behind more shield coverage. Shouldn't go next to the P-Gen, though. Probably not the best idea. Both the shields fall. Not enough. It's just not enough. So what you're noticing, watching is BS Square has a good idea, but just doesn't have enough built up for the time, and can't execute well. He has good ideas, just execution is not really the best thing. A chicken has been built. We'll bring it up to 4 now, just to make it go a little bit faster. But the column is moving. We have Harbingers, we have Redeemers, we have no shields, which is kind of interesting. We do have a Colossus as well. I like the group of units here from a B-Lover. He will probably crack this main base. The chicken is going to go in on his own. Unfortunately, should have waited for the other chicken. Would have been a lot better in defense, because this is probably going to finish by the time. Yeah, it's going to finish most definitely. It would have been better. It's going to go around. Now the idea is to now turn around and go back, kind of distract your opponent. We have some Ilshis inbound, but there's more Harbs inbound, and it won't matter. It just really won't matter. All those Ilshis get taken out, and he does it again. He goes, turns around, and walks back. So that was just a distraction. I love that. Dealing not a strategic. It was a strategic blow, but it was a mental blow versus like an actual physical infrastructure blow. And also with this, run all the way back, and then run this way, and then run this way. Okay, pause your chicken there. No, got it. Nope, stop. Bring the chicken back. You need to group up. Okay, now the Colossus turns around again. So all this time is just distracting B-Lover while he builds up his second chicken. He's building another one. He is building another one. He'll get a third one online. If he keeps doing this, he'll actually be able to probably hold off any incoming force. He has one Ilshi in the mix. This isn't enough, though. There are more Harbs on this southern side, so I just don't know. But there's a second Colossus now. Oh, no. Again, we know the numbers here. The 2 Colossus will win versus 2 chickens. There are some restorers going to help assisting with that. The second laser opens up. The first Colossus is primed. This one has to walk. This one has to walk. Nope, you're not micro. Oh, that's disappointing. And the first chicken falls. Will deal damage to his own self. Some of these Harbingers will fall. The second chicken falls. Oh, it's going to hurt. But it looks like the first Colossus will fall, though. So he'll get a victory in that aspect. Some Harbs will die as well. Actually, most of the Harbs will die in this group. But it's just unfortunate here. He had a good play with like a psychological play of like distracting his opponent. But again, just isn't building enough at one time. He wants to kind of, trickle it in. But when you do that, it just allows your opponent to build up more and more. You got to have one decisive cut. And that's it. Kind of like a scalpel. You don't want to be a sledgehammer. Maybe not a sledgehammer. You don't want to be a baseball bat. You want to be a scalpel. And just have one decisive cut, and that's it. Because now, B-Lover has caught up in the mass game, only behind about 30 mass a second. And has an army. Still has a Colossus. Lots of Redeemers, so air coverage is like non-existent. Can't build strat bombers effectively because they'll get one pass and die. As evidenced by that. And has a missile launcher though, but B-Lover has planned for that and has built an SMD, and that will finish loading before the nuke launcher will. And B Esquire hasn't really built his comm for tankiness. Leaves on the transport again. So he was here starting, then went down here, then went back up there, then went back down here again. That little base that he left all so long ago. And the ASF see the comm. Can the comm land? The comm does land. The the transport will fall. They'll know where the comm is. Yep, they see the comm. He is not getting out of there There's no way to walk down this, plateau side. Yeah, he is pretty much stuck up there unless he builds another air factory. Gonna build another shield generator. That's not a great position to be. Now B Lover's thinking, oh, that's not gonna go well. And the main base now here for B Esquire will just start being picked apart. There are some Utashalas built, but it's not enough damage. The Redeemers are going to lock out any air going to be built, so it won't matter. The nuke launcher goes down. Oh, that's got to hurt. See, like, he can't even build, anything, because by the time they're built, they die. There's another Colossus in tow. There's Restorers on their way to deal with the Calm. There's a huge group of Restorers here, about a couple squadrons worth. And so, I mean, there is some flak here, but I don't think it's enough. And I think B Esquire knows that. That's why he's spamming up shields. So it's not going to go well here for the last player on Team 1 side of things. And those ASF come in to support the Restorers. The Restorers come in. We'll turn off all the things. We can see this incoming fire. Oh, that one. There we go. And the Calm of B Esquire's shields are starting to fall. The Restorers are still, they're starting to lose a couple of their numbers. But the shields are now, taking their toll. Now the Calm facing down all of the incoming fire. And I think that is going to be it here. Just trying to move out of the way. Build another, anti-air emplacement. But that is it. That is a win here for Team 2. Very different game. A lot of things happened. It should have been a DC. There should be, the replay, whatever the code that determines it's a DC should have notified me. I do apologize, but I still think it's an interesting match because a lot of stuff happened. Crazy stuff happened. So thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. It turned in, again, from a 6v6, halfway in, it turned into a 1v1, really weirdly, and then it was kind of it was a game within a game. So again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Please like and comment down below. And if you haven't hit that red button below me, the video, please do so. I greatly appreciate it. And again, thank you so much for watching. And I will see every one of you in the next one.